Questions?
Coach, when you start a game plan for Kentucky, obviously you probably know them as good as any opposing coach could. What unique challenges are you expecting from them in the opening game?
You know, their back end's long and athletic, and so, I mean, it's going to pose a set of challenges for sure. Coverage-wise, they're, as far as nationally, I think they're ranked pretty high from what I read the other day. So, I mean, those guys are long. They've recruited well in the back end. They do a good job coaching those guys up in the back end. They do multiple things with them. So, I mean, the back end's going to be tough. That was it. That was
Yeah. As far as what you'll see from the rest of the defense, what do you expect?
Well, I mean, I think they're much like everybody else. I mean, they're not going to sit here and change their whole defensive scheme because of our first game, and I have a little bit of knowledge about them, and they have a little bit of knowledge about me. I mean, it goes both ways. Ultimately, both teams have to go out there. I promise you, I think on both sides there's enough question marks. And so, ultimately, like Coach Hop says, the team that executes the best is going to win. And so, hopefully our question marks play better than theirs.
You know, you don't think of Kentucky in football in the same class as maybe Alabama, Florida's, Georgia's, that kind of thing. They haven't had that kind of success up there. This is SEC talent, though, is it not?
No doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it going to be like going back there, just in a different color?
No, it's fine. It's another game to me. I mean, I treat them all the same.
Coach, what makes Isaiah Jones and Alonzo Staggers different enough for you to start them in your offense?
Man, I think that both of those guys have made plays over the course of camp. You know, I mean, dependability is as important as ability. And so you have to have guys that go out there and do the right things over and over again. And so those two guys have been consistently making plays, consistently doing the right things. So, I mean, obviously those guys that are dependable are going to be the guys you lean on heavily when Saturday gets here.
Are they on the outside, or are they on the slots?
One will be outside and one will be inside. But we will move them around. I mean, you're going to have a hard time pinpointing them a little bit.
Coach, looking big picture, what does this matchup mean to Southern Miss's program and just getting this new era of USM football kicked off?
Well, I mean, ultimately it's game one. You know, I mean, I don't think in our building, I don't think we're making any more or less about it than that. You go play the game, they're going to put 11 people on the field, we're going to put 11 people on the field, and ultimately you hope your guys fight hard to the end. You know, and I mean, I think that's what Coach Hop preaches, is that keep fighting, you know. And so ultimately this is game one of his era. I think we all know that. We all want to go out there and put our best foot forward, no doubt, and I feel confident that that'll happen.
With the game coming up this Saturday, I guess what's the biggest thing you learned about Nick as a quarterback coming into or going from spring camp to fall camp?
Well, I mean, his overall just commitment to getting better, and just like this game, I mean, he's been up there watching film. He's developing his own game plan, you know, and we're mixing and matching ideas. So I mean, he's a lot like a coach, really, in a lot of ways. I mean, he's got his little office set up over there, and he's going through cut-ups and everything. So, and I think it's important to, you know, if you're a quarterback like that, to approach the game in a professional way. You know, I think that, you know, you read a lot about Peyton Manning and those guys, but, you know, his ability might have deteriorated through the years, but the one thing that kept him sharp is just his mental approach to the game. I mean, he knew what to expect. He knew where the ball should go, and I think that, you know, if you stay on top of your game to that point where you know what to expect and the ball's out and going to the right place, I think you've got an upper hand.
I know.
How big a deal is it to have an experienced quarterback?
I think everybody would want one. You know, when you don't have one, it's a problem. When you do have one, you're happy. So I mean, definitely a plus. You know, losing some key playmakers, I think it's important that, you know, that one of the positions is got some experience. You know, what's tough is when you lose all your playmakers and your quarterback. You know, and then you got to rebuild everything. It's good to stagger it a little bit.
How about y'all's relationship as far as kind of getting inside each other's heads and getting along and getting to know each other and all that stuff? Did that come quickly, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of us are pretty easy people to get along with. So, you know, I mean, it's some mutual respect there for sure. And I think that especially the way his demeanor is. I mean, he's an old school player when it comes to when you tell him something, he's going to do it. He's not one of these guys that have a million questions, you know. And so typically he's going to toe the line whenever you tell him to do something. He's going to try to do it to the best of his ability. So that's good.
Coach, kind of revamping that offensive line. You got 2 tackles from last season. They're now on NFL rosters. Are you pretty happy about how that line came together over the course of the spring and summer camp?
I am, but I mean, obviously, game test is different than practice test, and so, we'll see how those guys. And we have the good thing is we have a few guys that are ready to play in those positions, and so I think that you'll see a good rotation there, and so game test will be important. See how they perform under the lights.
I know you have Keon listed as the number 2, maybe with Parker Adams. Is it preferable that you're not playing this year?
Who's that, Keon?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
5 days before the first game, how do you feel at that time?
I feel good. I think I feel as good as you could possibly feel. I mean, obviously every coordinator is going into this first week with a set of question marks. I mean, typically every place is probably a little bit different, which position it is, but there's no different here. I mean, we're sitting in a situation where we have a set of question marks, and if we can get those players that have inexperience in those positions, if we can get them on the right page and get them performing at a high level Saturday, I'll feel good about it. And so we'll see. I mean, it's always the first game is a little bit of uneasiness because there are so many question marks. As the season goes along, I mean, you play more reps, people settle into their niche. And so game 1, you got question marks going into game 1, so you hope you can get them to the point throughout the course of the week and throughout the course of camp where they're comfortable and their knowledge of what you want them to do is high enough to go out there and execute. And it's our job as coaches really to put them in good situations. So if there are things they do feel uncomfortable with, hopefully we won't be doing those things.
Coach, from what you've noticed, how confident is this bunch about being capable of going on the road and winning at Kentucky?
I think they're confident. I mean, I think our kids view it as an opportunity, as a game, I don't think they make any more or less of it than that. And so I think that they have the belief that if we go out and execute and play good, we can beat anybody. And if we go out and execute badly, then we can get beat by anybody. And so I think that's the great message that Coach Hop sends to the group. Is he don't really talk about winning or losing too much. It's just control your controllables, do what you can do. And so as a player, and so nobody has to be superhuman. Go out there and execute. And typically when you go out there and you get beat, it's people in the wrong place, people doing the wrong thing. So, I mean, and that's the overall message. I mean, control what you can control, go out there, know the game plan, know your responsibilities, and really in every game, once the emotions settle in the game, it's all about, executing at your spot.
What do you expect out of your retiring position out of this game?
I expect this game and every game that position is going to grow and grow, to be honest with you. Those guys are athletic, and I feel good about moving them all around. And so, I mean, those guys need to have opportunities to make plays.
Anything else? Coach Dawson, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.